personal prison, the Cleek. That was a prison for debtors and heretics. This next bridge is Cannon Street Railway Bridge, arguably the oldest and the ugliest railway bridge across the Thames in central London. It was designed by John Hawkshaw and it opened in 1866. But in complete contrast, the next bridge is Southwark Bridge, the narrowest and least used road bridge to cross the Thames in central London. The approach roads are so narrow and so poorly designed, not many Londoners know that this bridge is here. So if you do see anybody up there today, give them a wave, because they're more than likely lost. Through this bridge on to our left is a white building with timber frames and a thatched roof. That's a replica of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. It was the idea of Sam Wanamaker, an American film producer and director. You can see Shakespearean plays performed over there in period dress and costume for only £5. That's excellent value for live entertainment here in London. Also on the left is the old Bankside Power Station. That was designed by Giles Gilbert Scott, but it closed due to the escalating price of oil. It's now home to the Tate Modern, the largest collection of modern art in the world. We're about to pass through the Millennium Bridge, locally known as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. That's because it was opened by our late Queen in the Millennium year, and it was closed by the police the following day because it wobbled quite violently. They closed that bridge for 2 years. They spent millions of pounds dewobblising it just to make it safe. On our right is the magnificent dome of St Paul's Cathedral. St Paul's was designed by Sir Christopher Wren. It stands 365 feet high. It's the second largest unsupported cathedral dome in the world. Now despite that, the foundations at St Paul's are only around 4.5 feet deep. We're about to pass through the Blackfriars group of bridges. The first bridge is Blackfriars Railway Bridge. It was built by John Wolfe Barry and Henry Mark Brunel, the son of Isambard Kingdom Brunel. This bridge was built to replace the old London to Chatham and Dover Railway. That was taken down because it couldn't take the weight of the modern day trains. The red columns on either side are all that remains. The next bridge is Blackfriars Road Bridge, built at the request of Queen Victoria to commemorate a Dominican monastery that stood over on the right. The monks of that monastery wore black habits, which is where we get the name Blackfriars. Off to the left of the boat is a red brick building with a tower on top. That's Stamford Wharf, locally known as the Oxo Tower. Now that building was a cold store for the famous Oxo company. When they had it designed, it was illegal to advertise along the River Thames unless your company worked with boats. Now because Oxo make stock cubes, they have nothing to do with boats, they were taken to court. They argued it was merely a coincidence. Now the windows up on their tower spelt their company name, Oxo. Now surprisingly, the judge agreed with them. They've had over 90 years of free advertising ever since. I think they got away with a technicality, something about gravy boats. Now, along our right here, we've got Victoria Embankment, built by Joseph Bazalgette in 1868. The Victorians encroached on the River Thames, which allowed them to build the sewer system we still use today, and parts of the underground network as well. On the embankment, we've got that stone archway. That's Temple Stairs Arch. The western boundary for the City of London we've just left, and the City of Westminster we've just entered. The City of London is one of the smallest capital cities in the world, only 1 square mile. Off to the left of the boat, we've got a National Theatre. It was which is actually a Tesco. This area on the left is the South Bank Centre. They have over 5,000 performances throughout the year, and some excellent street food markets as well. The bridge ahead of the boat is Waterloo Bridge, affectionately known as the Ladies' Bridge, because it was built by the Women's Land Army during the Second World War. The ladies built the longest bridge in central London, just under a quarter of a mile. It's also one of the only bridges in central London to have been built on time and on budget, so well done. Now right, we've got the building with a green roof and single flag mast. That's the Savoy Hotel, one of our more luxurious bed and breakfasts. The Savoy was opened by Richard Doyley Cart. It was the first hotel in the world to have both electric lighting and electric lifts as well. Also on our right is London's oldest landmark, Cleopatra's Needle. That obelisk stood in Heliopolis in Egypt in around 1500 BC. It was given to us by a grateful Egyptian viceroy called Muhammad Ali. That was after British victories over the French at the Battle of the River Nile and the Battle of Alexandria. You'll also find a slightly smaller obelisk in Paris, which the French were given for coming second. Now passing through Charing Cross Railway Bridge. We've also got two footbridges, the Golden Jubilee Walkway and the Hungerford Footbridge. These were added to commemorate Queen Elizabeth II's Golden Jubilee. But on the left-hand side, we've got London's #1 tourist attraction. That's the London Eye. Now, the Eye opened in the millennium year. It was sponsored by British Airways. They sold the Eye because it wasn't making them enough money. Well, on a sunny day like today, the Eye can make up to £16,500 in only 30 minutes. So I've got no idea what kind of money they wanted to make, but apparently that wasn't enough. Oh, now, ahead of us on the right, we've got the new Palace of Westminster. It's more commonly called the Houses of Parliament. That building was designed by Charles Barry, but much of the decorative work was by Augustus Welby Pugin. Now, neither of those gentlemen lived to see it completed, but it's now our best example of Gothic architecture